Hi, guys. I am so excited because today we're going to be talking about meal planning and giving you guys some saving tips at the grocery store. And I have with me, I'm excited to have her, Monica from Happy Vida on a Budget. Hi, how are you?
Hi, everyone.
Vida Happy on a Budget. I said that wrong. Oh my God. I'm starting off great.
It's great.
So before we get started, Monica, do you want to tell people about your channel?
Yes, well, my channel is all about also mainly budgeting on groceries, but saving money, topics about finances, and here and there some stories that I would find related to finances. And also, I like to touch on topics about motivation and inspiring people and personal growth. But it mostly is related to finances and budgeting and saving money.
Yeah, no, and it's such a great channel. I love the fact that your channel
Thank
has a big
you.
heart. Like I remember one of the first videos I saw, you were talking about putting together a vision board. And I had heard of vision boards, but I didn't actually think about it. And afterwards I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try. And I was really motivated to do it. Your videos have such a big heart, and that's the things I love about them.
Thank you.
No, I mean it. So you did a video recently about your meal plan, and it got me so curious because one could never do what you do. I find it like I have to really dedicate time to be able to meal the week, but you actually meal plan for the month.
Yes. I just like to make my life easy.
Yeah,
There's too
yeah.
many other things we have to do. It's like,
Mhm.
and I've tried every meal plan out there, every strategy, freezer cook, freezer batch cooking to freeze the meals,
Mhm.
and the way I do it right now is just the easiest because I get rolling everything I have in the fridge, everything I have in the freezer, and at the same time I don't have meals for so long, so we have the chance to eat them within the same week.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I meal plan for the month, and if you guys see my video, I cook twice a week only, so that's 8 times a month.
That to me, I was like, when I saw that video, I was like, I need to change things up a little bit. I feel like I'm cooking.
No, and when I'm working and I'm not home, I only cook four because my husband is in charge of the other four.
Oh, that's nice. I can't do that.
You have to train
my,
him.
my husband can make one thing fantastic, and those are meatballs. For some reason, his meatballs
Mm,
and sauce, I can't touch them. I'm like,
hey, you can include that once a month.
oh, I'm telling you, that would be it. Then the rest of the month will fall on me because don't make them cook. Can you see the comments?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm just gonna look.
Hi, Kate.
Oh, the financial Latinas here, Jackie and Kaden. Hi, guys.
Jan.
Anne from New York City saves money. Oh, my thing. Minimalism with Anne. Hi, how are you? This is so nice. Okay. So, of course, as usual, I went on my Instagram and YouTube, and I asked questions, asking like, does anyone have any questions about how to save money on groceries and how to meal plan? And they came through. We have a few good ones, and I was just like, they're all good. And I feel like it's gonna make us kind of hear a little bit left and right on this topic, right?
That's good. That's a good
So yeah,
thing.
no, definitely. So Angel from Budget. Hi, Angel. She asked this question. Like, I get this sometimes when I'm talking about my kids on some of the videos, but this question I really think goes overall with kids and grown-ups. So she goes, how do you accommodate for food preferences in the household? Do you want to go first?
Oh, yes. I've been there. And I've been there again. I'm telling you, I've been through everything. Before, when my older son was younger and my kids were babies, well, I didn't have to worry much about everybody. But still, my son wanted to eat one thing, my husband wanted to eat another thing. So it's just conversating with your family and coming to an agreement and kind of you compromise, but then again, they have to compromise. So I used to tell them, instead of me cooking twice as I've been doing, not all your meals have to be your favorite meals.
Mhm.
So I told my husband, you're gonna eat, because I would eat whatever I made, but I would tell my husband, you have to eat whatever he chooses, and he has to eat whatever you choose, unless it's something like you really, really, really hate.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not your favorite, it's okay. You have to eat it for this time because your turn will come around. And now,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
And now my husband, as I mentioned, I believe on some of the videos, he has celiac disease.
Oh.
And that is a condition where he can't have any gluten at all. So we pretty much
Yeah.
carry a gluten-free diet at home. But he is also diabetic. And those two diets alone,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of contradict themselves because with diabetes, you can't have a lot of sugars, but with gluten-free, on a gluten-free diet, anything processed, a lot of the times they have a lot of sugar.
Okay.
And so it's like, what does he have? So we basically adopted kind of like a keto diet. I think it's what it's called. It's kind of like everything from fruits, vegetables, meats, well, on like regular meals, not a lot of processed foods.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we've adopted. And as I included,
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned on some of the videos, you just have to compromise. You might get this stuff on deals or get use coupons, but then you can spend money on the stuff that you can compromise.
Yeah.
Like the gluten-free items, they're very pricey. So if I get something that's cheaper, that leaves me room to buy something that's more pricey, like the gluten-free items for him.
Okay. When it comes to gluten free, what are the things that you have to stay away from? I know gluten free. When I think of that, I think of like pasta, right? Like you have to get for like gluten free pasta and things like that.
Yeah,
What
so
else do you have to get when you're on that diet?
it's pretty much, and hi, I don't think she's here, but Granny T, you all might know her. Recently, she had a video where she was talking about she didn't know much information about gluten free,
Yeah.
and this is something. So it's pastas, bread, of course, but a lot when it's for celiac disease,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the diet. Anything can trigger his immune system. So he can't have any spices, anything processed. A lot of the times, it might say on the ingredients, it might not say wheat. Anything that comes from wheat, barley, or I can't think of the other one right now. But even if it doesn't say that it has wheat, but you have to read the caution instructions because it might have been processed at a facility where wheat was processed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much chips, any spices, any cookies or crackers or breads.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything that comes in a package has
Yeah.
gluten.
Oh. Um, when it comes to Angel's question, for me, I have three kids, and it's me and my husband. And my little one, she eats everything and everything. She's like me, and I can be cutting up black olives for a salad, and she's like, "Can I have some? Can I have some?" Like it's awesome. But my teenagers, one doesn't like fruit, one doesn't like vegetables. So,
Oh,
accommodating food preferences. One day they told me it was like a few years ago. One day they told me like, "Can we stop with the broccoli rabe?" I love broccoli rabe, and every time it's on sale, like, I'd get a bunch. Like I could process it. Sometimes I'd steam it and I'd put it in the freezer for another meal. Make some up. Like it never went bad in my fridge. I don't know what it is about broccoli rabe, but I love it. They were like, can we not do that? We don't really like it. And so I was like, they don't complain when I cook, as far as like everything I make. I'm not saying this is like a perfect Pinterest life where, like mom's making a 3-course meal,
oh,
and
no,
and they love it and they come running. Yeah, no,
no,
no, not over here. But
you're
what I do is, like, example, like a pineapple fried rice, and I love it because it's a vegetarian meal. So there, everything is pretty much like in my pantry except for the green onions. Everything else is in my pantry. The rice, the sauce, but like pineapples, like, so everything's pretty much. I love it because I can make it in 20 minutes. Everyone enjoys it except for my teenager, like my daughter. She hates pineapples. So I'll say to her, I'm like, well, that's what's for dinner. My like, Like, you know, like, I don't know about you, but in my household, whatever you say is what's for dinner. Like, they can't say, no, I'm not eating it. But the
Mhm.
next day I'll make sure that the person who didn't like it, for example, the pineapple fried rice, the next day I make something I know she likes, and maybe my son might not like it much, you know? So we kind of
Like
alternate.
compromising.
Yeah, we alternate it. Yeah, definitely. But I'm not going to not make something other than the broccoli rabe, which I still miss. But
Yeah, but you can still do it like once a month, and
I
it might
know I
not be
haven't seen it
so.
on sale in forever, but I'm not stopping with it.
Yeah, but to answer her question, that is one of the ways. Like having your
Yeah,
talk to your family and having your family compromise.
yeah.
And if it's diets, you can, as I mentioned, include it into the meal planning to where it's fair for everybody. As you can see on my house, I don't buy a lot of regular breads,
Yeah.
but I do buy it at the when I do my monthly meal, my monthly haul. It doesn't last all month, but that's fine because we shouldn't eat a lot of bread anyways.
Yeah.
So the rest of the month we just go without bread. Or if I make a trip, when I make the weekly trip, I'll just bring another one. But if now we go with tortillas or something else, there's
Hmm.
always something that you can substitute.
Yeah.
And when the family doesn't like a certain diet, we always have leftovers too. We're strong on leftovers, so there's
Hmm.
always something.
That you
So
have that person didn't have something else then.
yeah, but I really think communication with your family
Yeah.
is the key with working out diets and
Hmm.
yeah.
Because I mean, if my kids had their way, we'd be having pizza and macaroni and cheese like every day. You know, I think when they look inside my son's stomach, like in his dream world, he'd have macaroni and cheese every day. So, but I want to make sure that I have a lot of vegetables in my meals for them and for my family because we want to be healthy. So that's why I make sure to like alternate things. But I want to
Actually,
share with.
yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
actually on my meal plan that I make, it's not only that I only cook for 8 times a month or 2 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
When I make it, I try to, we on Mexican food, there's always like those fried foods and everything. So I try to include maybe one of those in the month and one maybe chicken soup, one of each.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
One treat, just so that we have a variety of different meals
that's
and
great.
nobody's bored.
That's great. Honestly, that's great. I'm all about leftovers. Like I love leftovers, honestly. Not only because I get to eat it, but sometimes when like if I make chili is like a big thing. Like no matter how I portion it out. Like if I have enough of it, like the next day we can have it as a leftover. But then after
Yes.
that, I want 2 days of the same thing. And honestly, like I don't want them getting bored because I don't want them then later on complaining about this and that. So I roll it over. Like I take the chili meat and I make the tacos. Like I make fresh
Yeah.
guacamole or something. Like put it on a tortilla, and all of a sudden it's tacos, and they're like, or I'll take the chili that I made. I did this one, and my husband was like, okay, he's like, I'm in for it. Um, I just made some mashed potatoes. I put it on top, and I put it on top, and I made a shepherd's pie with the chili. Like, and no one had any clue except for my husband because on the bean, and
Yeah.
he's like, this is the chili from 2 days ago. I'm like, yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
it
like
is.
laughing inside, like,
Oh, but here, I wanted to share Kate Caden's comment. She had the same reaction that I did. She goes, "Oh wow, a whole month of meal planning. Way to go." I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'm lucky. A week I can make. I meal plan for the week, but then try to stretch my freeze a little bit more to like 10 days because since I budget for the week, that's where I can add in the savings by doing that. Like coming up with meals of what's left, like I just said, whether it's leftovers or like entry meal or something. But a whole month, I was like, when I saw that video, like I had to like, I literally had to pick up my chin, and then I was like, okay, you have to be on to show everyone how you do this.
another reason why I'm able to do this is, as I said, I've tried everything, and no meal planning is wrong. It's just whatever works for you at that time. I might end up one day not doing it this way,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been at the point where I used to look for recipes on Pinterest and everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and do it. I used to cook, believe it or not, I used to cook every single day with homemade tortillas,
Every day?
everything,
Oh my God.
every day, girl. When my kids were little,
Really?
yeah, a lot. Like my mom, my dad, everybody would come. I would send lunch for my husband, for my brother-in-law, everybody.
Really?
But it was like it gets to a point where like you just can't do that. I started working and everything, and it wasn't working for me anymore.
Yeah.
But what
I-
I'm saying is, I don't look for all those recipes anymore. I have come down to a list where like they're true love recipes for my family, and I'm not gonna have really anyone complaining. So I really just stick to that list.
Okay.
And I go down the list. And if I didn't use something the previous month, I make sure I include it on my menu this month. And I add any other recipes. And I work down the list. And when I'm done with the list, I'll start again at the top. And that might be like 6, 7 months down the line.
Wow. Wow.
So that way it's just easier.
Yeah, no, whatever's easiest. And that's why I love the idea of having you on, because you give a different perspective. Like I can talk about meal planning all day. I light up about how much I save on groceries, and that's
Me, and
another thing
people
I
are
love
like,
your video. It's another thing I loved about your video. How much did you save when you started meal planning for the month? Do you remember?
oh, well, I've been saving since before, but
Mhm.
I saved a lot of money. I used to spend about $2,000 a month on food.
Mhm.
At that time, when I'm telling you that I used to cook every single day,
I believe.
and
I
still we would go out to eat. And now, as you guys can see, I'm down to $300 a month
It's
for
crazy.
my
That's
for my
crazy.
entire family. And I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but at one point I felt hesitant to talk about it, especially um, for everybody. Not because I don't want to share with the frugal community,
Mhm.
mostly because of like the people around me that know me, and
Mhm.
it's kind of like I don't know, they're gonna think I'm like super cheap and this and that.
I tell
But
you. Mhm.
I get the courage when I get those messages of people telling me that they don't have money at the end of the month,
Yes.
and thank you for sharing, and they have no idea how to do it, and what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people need to know this.
Absolutely. That's why, like, when I started my channel, it was more about like budgeting and getting out of debt and this and that, and everything having to do with that, like lowering your monthly expenses. And then all of a sudden, I started getting messages from these amazing subscribers, like telling me like I lost my job and the highest thing on my budget is food. Like, do you have any suggestions?
Yes.
And I was like, yes. Like, I can talk about saving money on groceries all day, and that veered my channel to do that. Time like today that I do a video like this, or I have a collaboration with someone wonderful like you, afterwards,
Thank
af-
you.
oh, it's true.
My
Afterwards,
pleasure.
I'll share them with you if they let me. Like afterwards, the comments that about like I never thought of this. Like that's a great idea. Like I'm gonna start doing this, or you help me save money. I had a subscriber reach out to me last week, and I had to go run and tell my husband. I was like, look at this. Paid off her first credit card by cutting down her groceries because I
Yes,
listened to the tips I gave on one of my videos. I was like, I helped someone pay off a credit card. Like I was
that is an amazing feeling. Yes.
amazing. It's amazing. Like you just don't understand how you touch someone until they reach to you like that. And to me, that just filled my heart with happiness, honestly. So when I was so even more excited to have this video with you after that. I was so glad I have my
Yeah.
on this week.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly.
When I started meal planning like this, I mean, I've been saving a lot of money, but when I started meal planning like this, that I kept track, I did save about $17,000 a year
Holy
in just the food and I know there's people that might even spend more than what I was spending. I
Mhm.
mean, here in California, in Los Angeles, in San Diego, there's a lot of restaurants. So that's another thing. Since my husband got sick with the diagnosed with celiac disease, we
Mhm.
cut restaurants. We
Wow.
cut restaurants, so that saved a lot of money for us because we cannot go to restaurants. They're not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
No.
they're not safely to eat gluten free.
Free.
Not a lot of them, only a few, but we have to be very careful with that. So that just made it easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at the comments. They're when they start
Oh,
talking
there's
to
my
each other.
friend. There's my friend.
Oh,
Hi,
hi.
Erica.
Welcome.
Viviendo el sueño americano.
Aw. Oh, here you go. Hey, I'm also blessed with a meal or two homemade meals from my parents. Wow, that's
Yes,
awesome. I would do anything for that.
that's a blessing, Kate. And
That blessing, absolutely.
actually, that is one of the tips that I have to share in future videos. Was it's kind of like bartering
Mhm,
with food with either neighbors, family members,
mhm,
because we've always been like this. Like if I get something on sale or if I go to Costco and I get a lot of it, I would always share with my mom and dad, and I still do. Or if
mhm.
my brother comes or like that. But also, believe me or not, like people are always bringing me food,
Wow.
groceries, like my mom will come and she'll come from Costco and she'll share something with me. But it's kind
That's
of like with
nice.
my budget, I also share when I get it on sale. So that is a way to save money on groceries. Also,
Hmm.
not be offended if someone brings you something.
No, my God, that's the sweetest thing. I remember
But
when.
my brother, my husband was not like that. He would
Mhm.
kind of get offended. He would take it
Really?
kind of like, what do they think? Like we don't have money for food or what?
Oh,
And I
no.
started talking to him, and I'm like, no, you shouldn't be offended. They
Yeah.
do it because they're our family, our friends. They want to
Hmm.
share. They love us.
Yeah. When I had Emily, my little one, and like I had to have a C-section with all of them. So with her, like I was laid up for a while and little, and I had to be tending to her. My best friend dropped off trays of food, and I put my and so we were able to put one in the oven that day, and then have two that I put in the freezer. I was like, what an amazing gift. Of course, when she had
Yeah,
hers, she had she had to have three like me. I'm like, so when she had hers, we I went to a local restaurant, and it was everyone at work pitched in and got her all these trays of food, and she loved it because then now she didn't have to do it either. So
right.
yeah, that was
It's
the
like
first time.
if you get that going, rather than thinking like, oh, my budget is very tight and I don't have money to
Yeah.
share.
Hmm.
Once you share it, to me, food is a blessing,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the more you share,
Hmm.
believe me, it's like it duplicates. You
Absolutely.
you get the more coming back and everything. I
Oh,
don't know
Beth,
where you're
Beth's
at.
roadmap to happiness and financial freedom. Hi, she's they're commenting about my pineapple fried rice. It's a hit. I love it,
So
honestly. And
that sounds really good.
it's so inexpensive. I'll link the recipe below, but it's so inexpensive. That's what I love about it. And anytime that I can fit in, which is another money saving tip, is anytime I can fit in a vegetable meal, like in the middle of my regular meals, like that's how we save money too. And
Yeah,
plan on that pineapple rice, but because I have everything in my pantry to make it, I can make it like in 20 minutes. So.
I kind of do that. That is another thing. It was kind of difficult for me to always do inventory on
Hmm.
my pantry freezer meal. I know a lot of people do this, and I don't come to break the rules.
Hmm.
But it was kind of complicated for me, and I was lazy to go grocery shopping just because I knew I had to do that pantry inventory or my freezer, and I would not go grocery shopping. I would just be lazy.
Hmm.
But what I do now, it's kind of like my last few days. I can go 1, 2, or 3 days without at the end when I'm supposed to go to the grocery just by cooking something from the pantry.
Yep.
And that is the way to use it up. And I make like a
Hmm.
mental note, like, oh, I need to use this soon or whatever.
Hmm.
But I don't take like the inventory in writing.
I agree with you. I did a meal planning video. It was one of my first ones, and I said like to write everything down because it was meal planning when it's new to you. Like you might not have like you might not have like the mental space. I guess like
Yeah.
once you're in it, you're in it. I mean, like that, then it's kind of robotic.
I
So
mean, it's good to train, yes,
yeah, so like
and
the
to
first
do
few
it.
times to someone that's new that's never done it, I said like like you should write it down, like fridge, freezer, pantry, and come up with and cross them off as you go, like because like I thought maybe someone wouldn't have it, but you don't know how many times. And it's funny, it's one of the questions. So when I saw that question, like I get this one all the time, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So,
great.
oh, so
Either way it works, but do it
yeah,
and get your pantry going. If you have to
absolutely,
write it down or
absolutely.
whatever, get those items out before they expire.
Yes, absolutely. I don't have things really expire anymore because I meal plan. Before I meal planned, like when I was just going to and buying what I thought I needed for the week, not looking to see what I had before, and I was duplicating items, I'd have things I'd have to donate because I realized like it's getting near the expiration date and someone else can use it right away. And now,
Right.
and now that I have like the system going, and it honestly takes me 20 minutes to do the whole thing. Maybe 25 if the kids keep coming in and talking to me. but
True.
me alone, I can get it done in 20 minutes, and it just saves me so much. I saved over $5,000 a year once I started meal planning because I cut $100 a week. So
Yes, yes.
300 a year is what I saved.
And that is great money. Like, and if you keep track of it, it's so exciting. Am I the only one that gets excited to meal plan?
No, I do too,
Okay.
and that's why whenever someone asks me a question about how to save money on groceries, I'm like, like let's talk about it. And so Teresa, she said I try my best ahead on the weekends, so we're set for a few days of meals since I work long hours, but always seem to end up throwing out our leftovers. They usually get pushed to the back of the fridge to, which I thought was hysterical. How can I avoid this? We're a family of four. What do you think?
I do something, and I don't know if you remember, but when I first met you on Jan's live,
Mhm.
when you were with Ellen, one of my comments was that I have a space, one of the trays in the refrigerator. I kind of leave that one for leftovers. So even my kids are little, and they know that that's where they'll find the leftovers.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like a great way. I mean, of course, if nothing else fits anywhere else, they can use it for something else. But
Yeah.
usually, that's for leftovers. That's a sign for leftovers. I think that helps a lot for the whole family. And if you have to label it,
Label it.
that
I found I don't know if it was at the 99-cent store a few years ago, but it's a roll and it looks like scotch tape, but it's actually for the freezer, and you just put a piece of tape on top and you can use a permanent marker, and then
I
it
haven't
peels right off. It peels right off and it's not a problem. It was like $1. I found.
oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I still have it. I was so surprised. I'll try to find it and link it below. But so I was so excited when I saw that because that's what
Yeah.
I do. I want to label it. My thing, so the way that I is, and it's funny, I mentioned it in a video, and it was one of the biggest comments I got out of that. It was like a 5 tips to save money on groceries, and that one tip was like everyone's like, "Wait, say that again." It's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Um, I try to do two things with leftovers. So one is same thing you do. That's why I lit up when you said it. I have a shelf that I try my best to keep for leftovers because I don't sit there that long. Because I like making things with rice, like brown. I make a lot of brown rice. I'm making meals, and brown rice after the third day, it starts to turn, and I don't want, God forbid, I don't want to get anyone sick. So what I do is I dedicate a shelf for leftovers. But every 2 to 3 days, before I even think about what I'm making for dinner that day, I do a quick inventory of my fridge. I don't write anything down, but I just go through the drawers, move things around to make sure that,
Yes.
because it's not me that's doing it, it's the kids. And that's why when Teresa says she's a family of four, I'm telling the kids, do you find that like your kids will just take whatever they need in the fridge, things get shifted, where's this,
Yes.
that, it's in a weird place,
I
and that's
mean,
how things get pushed to the back.
yes, being at home and doing all that, that's work.
Yeah.
And they might not think so, but that's a job in itself.
Yeah.
Just keeping up with the fridge, with the groceries, with the pantry,
Mm-hmm.
all of that, that's work. And that is a perfect thing to do. Like whenever you cook, kind of like arrange or move it to smaller containers or move it to the front. I do that just to make sure that they're in the front where they see it. Because if it's in the back, you might look for it,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't go and look for
No.
stuff in the back.
No, they don't.
And
No.
I hate wasting food. I really truly do practice zero food waste.
Yes. Once in a blue moon, I'll have like a lime or a mango or something
Something
that
and
goes
you
bad.
feel bad.
I get so upset. I'm like,
Yes, I feel bad. I'm like, this can't happen again. No, no,
yes,
no, no. Like,
I
no.
know. I was eating guacamole the other day, and I had limes, and I don't know what happened. One of the vegetables or something on top of it, and I didn't realize it, and it like didn't have like that firmness to it. It was like kind of like getting like turning. I'm not gonna get anyone sick, so I threw it out, and I was like, in one lime, I was like, you know, so mad.
And just because I mean, well, to me, I don't necessarily think about the money factor, which it is money thrown away if
Mm-hmm.
you throw away leftovers or groceries. But I more think of it on the aspect like there's so many people that are hungry, and here I am letting this food go to waste.
Yeah.
That's what makes me mad, and it makes me feel bad. It's not so much that I think about the money
Yep.
aspect of it. It's just like, to me, that's a sin to throw food away.
I was waiting for you to say that. That's how too.
Really?
That's how it's un pecado. It's a sin. Like, don't do it. You know, like
That's,
it's a sin. Don't do it. Absolutely. I was like, I know she's
there's
gonna say.
Angel with her Spanish comment.
I
Nice.
know, no, here. All right,
Cute.
speaking in Spanish. What a beautiful name for a channel, Viviendo el Sueño Americano. So she says, "Hello,
Oh,
girls. Thank you very
she's
much
my
for
very good
to
friend
say
from
it."
my Spanish channel.
Oh, well, thank you so much
Very
for
nice.
being here. That's so
Oh,
nice.
yes.
Oh my gosh, I love seeing new people and getting to know them. Oh wait, my comments just jumped.
She actually has a channel that it's kind of like everything related to helping people,
Oh,
finances, personal growth, and
oh
all
my gosh,
saving money and all of that. And
yeah.
there's only, to be honest, there's only a few channels that are like that. I mean, not a lot of channels are like that in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So she's one of them.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here,
absolutely. No, I'm gonna go check her out.
Jackie.
Beth,
Yeah,
talk about my pineapple fried rice again. I've had the pineapple fried rice at a Thai restaurant. I would love to try to make it. Mine is just something I saw something on Pinterest one time, and you know how you see a recipe, and then little by little you kind of make it your own, like that. That's what I did on that one. But I'll link it down below. Let me see. Uh,
that must be good. I want to try. I love rice. Give me rice
it's easy.
any
It's so easy.
way, and I love it.
Oh, she's so sweet. Debbie Amani, you have great potential on this platform. Your tips to save money are very good. Thank you. Thank you. That's
Oh,
a
so
comment. Oh my
sweet.
gosh. Oh, okay. Okay, here's Angel, my real life budget. So she's not the only one who gets excited about saving money on groceries.
I don't feel lonely now. I
I'm
felt
like,
so
no,
weird
no,
before I
here
met
for
all of
you.
you.
Absolutely. So I'll move on to the next one. So Sandy, she said, we've been, oh, this, okay. Every time I get a question like this, I kind of get a little hesitant on how to answer it, but I love the way she worded it. Okay. So she said, we have been able to save about $140 a week since we started meal planning, thanks to your tips, Debbie. She's so, I mean, that, like I said, like I don't want to get emotional. I've already cried twice on this channel. Here, thank you, Sandy. Here's my question. I could put that money into savings, but my husband wants to go to a fancy dinner once a week and spend it. I like the idea of not having to cook that night each week, but our savings was really starting to add up. What would you? Every time I get a question like this, I kind of hesitate. I'm like, I love to tell. Obviously she's saying what would we do. She's not saying for like tell her what to do. Love that.
So how I would do it is I would own 140 a week, right?
They're saving $140 a week, which is fantastic. That's even
A
better
week.
than what I
So
was
that is really good
That's
money.
that's really good. Yeah.
That's $560 a month.
I love the way you just did that math. Yep.
Yes. Oh, I love math. I love math.
I
I
know.
was great. I was great at math earlier when I was younger, but I love math. But I would just use 1 week, to go out once a month, or maybe 2 dinners a month, but only 1 week, and save the rest.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say too.
Because just because I think in order for your family to do this with you, because it's their food too, you're cutting on their food. You're compromising their food. It's like, give them that luxury, that treat.
Yep.
Let them know that, okay, let's do this, and we'll use this to go out. So I think that's a way to come and meet someone halfway.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, instead of making it once a week, do once every 2 weeks. And that way you can take $140 aside and take the other 140 and hopefully, like do something where it's less expensive so you can put some away, but you can enjoy that day of not having to eat, like I'm not having to cook and eat a fancy meal, which is nice.
I mean, you can do 50%, as you said, that would be 50%.
Mm-hmm.
Me in my house, I would do only 25%, and save 75%.
Yeah.
But I mean, 50%, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I miss date nights. I can't wait for things to get better around here because my husband and I, once a month, we would only do it once a month, but we would go get food because I don't cook fish. I have to learn how. It's just one of those things. I know I'd be really pushing the kids on limit. The only two things I don't make at home are anything with mushrooms because they're going to freak.
I don't know.
My husband and I, we love fish, but we love to go out to eat when it comes out, so those are the two things I don't make as much, but I miss our monthly date nights. It was a way of us connecting, not about the kids, having it be about us. So I totally get what they're saying. But
have you done like at home date nights?
For our anniversary, we went and we got the takeout from our favorite restaurant. They just started doing curbside because again, people aren't going to restaurants by me. So the restaurant smartened up and they started doing curbside. So you pull up and they get to your car, which was great. And so for our anniversary, like I lit some candles and I had the thing set up, and then the kids stayed upstairs. Every once in a while, they were peeking. They're like, "Something smells good."
That's fun. That's exciting. You have to take the best out of all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to make the best out of it because if not, it's going to get you. It's going to get you. It definitely is. So then is our fellow Jackie from the Financial Latina.
Hi, Jackie.
Yes. I mean, she's right there. She got.
Pecado, she said.
I'm watching her comments too. She says, "I get excited to keep my money."
Me too,
girl. Okay. So she said, "My husband and I allocate what I feel is a specific amount of money for our household expenses. It's $200 per paycheck, so that's biweekly, which includes everything: soaps, toilets, tissues, groceries, etc. We feel like we never have enough food." Says we can be really picky about what we eat, and we choose not to eat certain things that other families might see as cheap meals, which is why I find myself cooking every other day instead of making meals that last for a while. Any suggestions? Is this the quote, we never have food, an indicator that our household budget is too small? What do you think?
I wouldn't think so. That's way more than I spend. But I don't know where she's at. But I don't think it's an indicator of that it's too small. I really think she just has to make some changes in the way she meal plans, or again, talking to your family, compromising with them. And I look at it like we as moms, if we are the ones that are wanting to do this saving and no spending challenges and all that, it's like we're like a coach to our family. So it's like, would you go exercise with a coach that is like overweight and he's telling you how you need to be fit? It's like, no, you need to do it yourself. And it's the same with food. Like, you can't be wanting to go out and eat all the time and not want to eat the leftovers and not wanting more affordable food. But then again, you want to save and you want your family to change their habits. It's like, you're in charge, make it to a point to where like, don't make the drastic change, but little by little, like, some people, for instance, they eat meat all the time, every single day of the week. Otherwise, they won't eat. And I think this is what happened with me because my husband, he loves meat. And it was very pricey. So it didn't mean like my budget was too low. It meant I had to make some changes. And what I did, I ended up, I cut 2 days. I started doing 1 meatless day, then 2 meatless days, then 3 meatless days. Then one or 2 or 3 days with meat because everybody, all of the other days were meatless already. And things like that is like where you cut it to where now I only make one meal with meat a week.
Mm-hmm.
That of course we have for 2 days, so that's 2 days of meat.
Mm-hmm.
But my other meal is meatless.
Mm-hmm.
So that saves a lot of money. So, for instance, in her case, I really think it's not that her budget is too small. It's just they have to make some changes, maybe starting with her if she doesn't want to allocate more money to groceries.
Mm-hmm.
If her priority is to save.
The part of the question that got me when I was looking at it is that they include like the soaps, the toilet paper, and groceries and everything, and that they're kind of picky about what they like to eat. So I thought like, and I actually thought of like, I took the question a little different. I thought it was more along the lines of what she's cooking, because if they're picky, if there's just two of them, I believe it's just the two of them. Then if they're more selective with what they want to say, picky's a negative thing, but if they're gonna be more selective what they're gonna make, then I think like it's a great thing. Like take the ingredients that you love to cook with, like the ones that you really love to cook, and go on Pinterest. Like go on my favorite uh app and also website. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's All Recipes. Have you ever heard of that
Yes,
one?
yes,
I
I've used it
I love it.
before.
Oh my gosh. One of the things I love about it is, first of all, it's free.
It
It's
gives you
free. You can
everything.
have it on your computer. You can have the free app on your phone. There's no charge.
Yes,
I love it. But what I love about it is it has to come up with meals when I don't have a lot of food on hand, because it tells you like, oh, like main thing. Let's you want to make chicken, right? And you put in chicken, and like, oh, it'll ask you like, what else do you have? You put in whatever.
yes,
You give the dinner spinner, is what they call it, a spin, and it comes up with
yes,
a whole screen of recipes that you can.
yes.
So if you're still trying to stay under your budget, my suggestion is look at the ingredients that you love to shop for. Like if you're particular, or if maybe your husband's particular, and then see if you can come up with meals that you can make that would be something you can either have a leftover or like make extra and then freeze it. And then that will have another meal like that you can go to, so you don't have to feel like you're cooking every other day. Any leftovers that you have, and then it becomes an inventory in your freezer of like meals that you made that you've loved, and that sooner or later you can just pick something, pick one out. One last day you have to cook, and then it helps you stay under budget. you
She
know
says she cooks every other day, right? She
yeah,
has
she
to.
says she cooks every other day, and I can see how like cooking every other day, like, and especially like if particular with what they eat, like it can become a challenge. But if they can like fine tune their recipes so they can continue to buy the food that they want, but cook it in a different way. I'm thinking that way they can start an inventory in their freezer. Less time she has to cook,
Yeah.
because I know she dedicates a lot of time to her channel. Her channel's awesome. So.
I mean, if she can do exactly like freezer meals,
Mhm.
or not to promote, but kind of like a thing that I do with my menu,
Yeah.
to where you only cook two times a week, and you don't have to do like I do beans weekly,
Mhm.
but she doesn't have to do beans. But if it's pasta, something really easy,
Mhm.
but to where you have something set every single week,
Mhm.
one cheaper item, that but stick to the true love recipes, as you mentioned, with the same ingredients.
Yeah.
It also makes, when you stick to the same recipes, it kind of makes your grocery shopping easier too, because you kind of know by you just know your staples already
Yeah. Yeah. You
by
know. You
heart.
know. Like I used to live with someone that was very particular with what they ate, and that's how we went around it. And that's how we went around it, because like you don't want to make someone eat something that they don't want to eat, because one, it's just going to be problems during dinner. They're going to be like, why don't we get takeout instead? And then you blow the budget. And two, that way they can also get an inventory in the freezer less time that Jackie has to cook. So I hope that helps, Jackie. Um, I wanted to click on Granny Prepper. She has such awesome comments. I always enjoy her. She says,
Yes.
I have a 6-page shopping list and I copy it. 3 columns, par, have, and need. Track of my pantry and freezer. That's awesome. That's
That's great.
awesome.
Yes.
reminds me of my husband when I met him. The first time I went to his apartment, I was making coffee or something, and I opened up the cabinet, and inside the cabinet he had a list, and it was like just main things, and he had like checks next to what he was buying. I was like, he's really organized. It's like he's like yeah,
I keep a list on the side of my fridge,
mm-hmm.
but only because throughout the month, if there's something that we ran out of, everybody knows and they go write it right there. Like, oh,
Nice.
we're low on ketchup, or we ran out of ketchup, and they write it right there on a whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good way of keeping track. So at the end of the month, you're not like, what was it? What was it that I needed? What was it?
I like we have an Alexa now. Not to sound fancy, I got it free from work. I was like, I'm not spending money on an Alexa, but we have an Alexa in our.
I wanted an Alexa once at my job.
What's that?
I wanted an Alexa once at my job too. That's how I had it.
Oh,
I wouldn't go buy it.
No, they gave it to him, and you know, it's I'm not technologically want to jump at new technology and learn it. You know, like I have to, I will. But one of the things I love about it is like my kids can, and you know, like anything that can avoid them having to make extra effort, you know, to do something, you know, like they'll do. And so we started the shopping list on it. So I'll just say, you know, Alexa, like add like milk to the shopping list. So when it comes to me having to grocery shop for the week, I do it online, but I have the whole shopping list there. But before that, I just at the dollar store to get one of those little those little notepads that have a magnet in the back, and I used to just have it at the side of the fridge. And anytime I was like, when they'd ask me something, I'm like, is it on the list?
Yeah.
And they're so just write it down, and that way we'd get everything we needed, and we wouldn't have to go back to the supermarket, which is like a huge money like suck right there. If you go to the supermarket, then you have to. If you forgot something, that's another thing. Try to substitute.
When I meal plan for the month, I write the main ingredients that I'm gonna need for the month, and whatever I can bring on when I do the monthly meal shopping, the monthly grocery shopping, I go ahead and write it, and then at the end I ask everybody, "Is there something you want from the store?" And they're usually like, "Oh yeah, Skittles or gum." No. I mean groceries. But
favorite to use for the kids. No.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to the candy shop, but I mean I do get it for them. But then they throw like their fruit treats. They don't ask for cookies and that. They usually ask for kiwis. They usually ask me for cucumbers, and so they know it. And that is an easy way to do it. When you're meal planning, write your grocery list, and then from there, you just go ahead and add any other staples that you might need. That is the process I do. Any other staples and anything on the list.
Absolutely. I was looking at the comments real quick. Everyone has such great comments. Let's see. I'm looking at everything. They're starting to talk to each other in Spanish. This is awesome.
I see her.
I'm like, oh my god, so cool. Okay. Oh, the financial Latina. She says, Debbie, you will be able to enjoy your date night again.
Yes.
From your lips to his ears, honestly, I'm so bad. I really do. You know, as a couple, you just need that deprogramming and not talking for like an hour. You know, it's just again, my family's thing to me. Don't get me wrong, I have kids, but when my husband and I, we just need that time. You know, and it's nice to get dressed up
to get a full sentence in, right?
What's that?
To get a full sentence in.
Yes. You know how many conversations don't end in my house because they walk in and they just start talking. I'm just like, imagine if we did that. If they were on the phone with their friends, I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Like,
no, they would just be like,
yeah, no, it can't. It won't happen. Okay. Anyway, okay. Michael, so this is the one I was like, I get this question so often. So when Michael asked it, I was so glad he brought it up. So he says, I tried meal planning a few times, and it just seems overwhelming to take inventory of what you have. I write everything down as I go to my pantry, my freezer, my fridge. Any suggestions on how to cut my time down? I know if I can do it in less time, I will be able to spend less money each week on it. What do you think?
So that's kind of I get where he's coming from. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
what I mentioned earlier. I did do it, and it does work, and it works wonders.
Yeah.
But maybe that's not his style of grocery shopping or meal planning,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just using them as towards the end of the month
Mm-hmm.
or towards the end of the week, but keeping a mental note of what needs to get out, checking dates constantly so that he's not overwhelmed,
Yeah.
taking inventory, but constantly go through the freezer or the pantry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I
My
mean, there's no way around it. Things
no.
need to be used up, and
No.
you do have to check the dates and everything.
Yeah. For me, I get it all. I get this comment a lot, and I've been there. So that's why it's like every time I see someone mention like the amount of time it takes, I've had people say like, well, is it worth the time? Well, for me it was, because by taking now I have it down to 20 minutes. When I first started, it was a good 45 minutes, but 45 minutes out of the whole week, or hopefully 10 days, which, because I'm usually able to stretch it 10 days, 45 minutes out of a 10-day stretch, giving me over $100.
Perfect. Yeah,
I get paid $100 an hour at my job. That's awesome. But it's
it's
like,
so worth it. Yeah,
yeah. So it is worth it. But like, I started 45 at like 45 minutes in doing it, and now I can do it in 20 minutes because, like I said, like if you're starting off meal planning, my tip is to write everything down. But as you get better, you don't need to write everything down. Like I can go through my fridge, just my fridge alone. I can go through my fridge and be like, okay, you know what? I have chicken in the freezer. I have bread. I know I have breadcrumbs in the
yeah,
pantry. Make some breaded chicken. Like right there, I'm like, boom, breaded chicken. Like what can I
yeah.
make with it? Do I
Write
have
it
rice?
down,
Do I have pasta? Do I have a vegetable? Like boom, there you go.
and that comes with practice
It
too.
does. It does. Like I said, those 45 minutes were frustrating for me in the beginning because I was just brand new at it and I didn't know what I was doing. But to now be able to uninterrupted do it 20 minutes, and then with an extra 10 to 15 minutes, I already did free shopping online. So within a half hour to 45 minutes, I've free shopped for the entire week. I've saved a ton of money because by shopping your inventory first and then writing what you need in order to, like for example, let's say I want to make chicken parm. I have chicken in the freezer, I have breadcrumbs in the pantry, and I have sauce that I already made in the fridge. All I need is mozzarella cheese. So for that, I'm just adding mozzarella cheese to my shopping list. Like that's just
Right.
simple. So I do it by visually, because I'm the one that cooks. So I do it visually by just looking at what I have. And then anything, let's say, I have 5 days worth of meals. So the sixth day I need something. So I'll look at the circular at the supermarket. And one tip I always share, and everyone's always like, it's like you should always shop the first page and the last page of the circular, because everything in the middle is more than likely not a sale. They put it in the last page
Advertisement.
because those are their loss leaders. That's what they call it. It's the supermarket is taking a loss by taking that roast beef or steak or chicken or whatever and marking it down so low because they want to get you in the store, because you're more than likely not going to go just buy the chicken and leave. You're going to walk through and you're going to buy other things. So they're taking a loss on that one item, making their money with the rest. So if you really want to make a meal, you need one or two meals left after you've shopped your kitchen. That's what I would do, is look at the circle, only the first page and the last page. The stuff in the middle, they try to trick you, like buy 10 things plus, and save. And I'm like, yeah, how much am I saving?
I didn't plan to buy 10, so I'm not saving.
Yeah, I don't know how many times. First of all, that sauce was not on my list. Right there, I'm not saving.
Right.
Second of all, why to buy 10 of something? One day I took out the calculator and I realized by buying 10 of those things of sauces not on my list at all, I would have saved 12 cents. Yeah, but I would have saved $8, but I spent $8. You know what I mean? So it's what makes sense to you. But for me, I really, the more you do it, the meal planning, the more you do it, the less you're gonna start writing things down and you're better at it. That's just that's
Yes, it's practice. I really look at it like meal planning and grocery shopping is just like budgeting.
yes.
At the beginning, you don't know how to do it. You don't know your expenses, and it's stressful, and you don't want to do it anymore, and you kind of put it off. Is the same with meal planning. Another thing that really helps with the pantry, if he doesn't want to go through writing everything down, but it'll make it easier, and it's essential, is to have your pantry organized, really organized. Don't have everything mixed, pasta with canned food, with everything. It's just like I have like bins, like all the beans are right here, or the rices are over here, and this bin is for pastas, and all the canned foods here, and kind of section it out. Obviously, if you don't have room, you might end up putting something that doesn't belong on a certain area, but that makes it easier to visually see, oh, I need to use this, or I can use that, or whatever. And
Absolutely.
and it saves you time, and it helps you to get that pantry going.
And that way, that's a great point. I do the same thing, and then with I can just look at it. That's why I don't have to write everything down. Like there are staples that I buy. Like I do buy one loaf of bread when I'm running low, because if I don't have anything else, I can make a quick sandwich for the kid, which isn't often. So I only
Yes,
buy bread for two and a half weeks. Maybe 3 weeks sometimes. But by looking quickly, no, okay, I'm missing bread. I only have one box of pasta. Like I need that's a great tip. I do the same thing by keeping it
yes.
streamlined. Keeping it streamlined, it makes it so much easier. And
I
then,
mean, it does get out of hand quickly, but it's okay. You kind of organize it again, and it helps a lot.
yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely, organization really does help you save money in so many ways. But it's so funny when you said thing, because I saw Jackie. Here it is. Planning sounds like budgeting. You need to put in the time, and you will see great results.
Yep,
You know, worded it better, Jackie. Again, guys, if you're not familiar with Jackie's channel, The Financial Latina, please go check her out. She's awesome.
she is great.
She really is. She's great.
She
Okay.
knows her stuff, and she's very young.
She
That's
does.
good.
There's two budgeting channels I love to watch when I'm doing the bills. Are you like that? Like if you're doing the bills, you're watching a budgeting channel. Like if you're cleaning,
Yeah, listening to
motivation
something
channel.
motivating.
She's one of them. She's one of them. I love doing my budget while I'm watching her. Here we go. Okay, so Viviendo el Sueño Americano. She says, I need to plan my menus for the week. When you do not plan, that's that you're going to cook during the, you end up buying products, yep, that you do not need, that you have not
Yes,
planned. I can't read. My gosh, I need my glasses. Thank you so much for the tips. Great point.
yes,
That's a
that's
great
true.
point. How many times have we all been there where we're like, okay, what am I gonna make for dinner? Or the kids are asking you like an hour before you even have to start thinking about it. Mommy, what's for dinner? Mommy, what's for dinner? You want a pizza? Like so many times that's where my mind goes. And I'm like, no, like let me see. By having that plan ahead of time, you save money because you're not tempted to buy anything out.
And you know what? That's why I like doing the monthly meal plan, because let's just say I don't get to go do my weekly grocery shopping, which is usually for produce or dairy.
I was gonna ask you
It's
that. If you do the
okay.
monthly,
We
if you do
can
the
go
monthly, you do have to
without.
get that, right?
What was that? I'm sorry.
If you do meal plan for the month, what do you do with that? With the dairy and like the milk and the eggs and things.
Oh, I do. As I mentioned on my grocery hauls,
Mm-hmm.
I do a monthly meal, a monthly haul.
Mm-hmm.
But then I do, of course, on the other 3 weeks, I do a weekly, and then
Nice,
the month comes around, and I do another monthly haul.
nice.
And usually for the weekly, either my husband will make a run, or I will make a run. But it's, since I'm only spending about $25-$30, it's quick in and out. The milk, the produce,
Out.
and it's knowing your store too. But if you forgot something, it's a good chance to go get it when you are gonna make that trip. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and go without. Like, if we ran out of bread, but we can use tortillas, or if we don't have milk,
Mm-hmm.
your kids, your family are not gonna die if they don't have cereal on a
Yes.
certain day. I'm
Tell
not
my
kidding.
little one that.
I'm
Tell
not
my
kidding
little
you.
one that
And
'cause
this
she
is
freaks out.
what?
My little one freaks out. She doesn't have milk for her Cheerios. When things were really bad in the beginning of the quarantine, we couldn't get milk for a few weeks, and my husband went and got from Amazon dried milk. You would have thought she was being tortured. She's like, I just want my cereal. But
Well,
yeah,
you know what? Recently we ran out of milk, right?
mm-hmm,
And it
mm-hmm.
wasn't time for me to go to the store, or actually, I think it was the day before, but I didn't go, and I am a bad mom. I told my son, I didn't tell my son, he wanted cereal, and he goes, well, I'm going to drink it with orange juice. And I said, okay. And he was like, really, Mom? He was so excited. I'm like, you better eat it if you put it. And he put a little bit, he tried it. Oh my God, he was so excited. So just enjoying and having fun in those moments, that's fine. Like nobody's gonna die. Like they can drink water, they can do something else. We ran out of drinks or whatever, I shared my easy horchata recipe. We always have rice, and if we have sugar, you can make a delicious pitcher of horchata.
Wow.
Just anything you have, just make it work and go without, so that you save money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was making cookies for my husband. He loves chocolate chip cookies. And I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like he had a hard day at work or something. I wanted to do something special for him. I didn't have butter. I went quickly on Google, which I say it all the time. Like, it's your best friend. Like, if you want to substitute one ingredient that you don't have something else, instead of going to the store, Google it. I had applesauce. I had applesauce. I put applesauce instead. He is a chocolate chip cookie connoisseur. Like, this is really good. Like, they're, again, as normal, your cookies are so good. And I was just like,
Yes.
who knew? But that's what Google said. And I tried it. I'm like, so
Yes.
yeah. All right. So Angel, here's another great channel. Please check out Angel from My Real Life Budgets. She's awesome.
She is so fun.
She's such a doll. And she says, my local store does that. I 10 qualifying items for a discount, but that you don't need those qualifying items. It's a money trap. That's exactly what it is. We've all gone to the supermarket with a list, right? And then we all get tempted because something's sale. I did a whole video on how the supermarket psychologically get you to spend more, and I'll link it down below. But for me, it's like, yeah, you go in with a list, you have the best intention, get a snack, you're not hungry, and then you start seeing like, this is on sale, this is on sale, this is on sale. You think to yourself, I'm gonna save money because it's something I can use next week, next month, and then you look at that. What I do? Yeah. No, absolutely.
I didn't know this, and I don't know if it applies to the $10 ones. I'm not sure. I've seen those sales, but usually when it's like two for $1, let's just say, I was thinking like, oh, I gotta buy the two to get them for $1 because otherwise they're 75 cents each. And no, even if you just get one, they give it to you for 50 cents.
Unless
I didn't know that.
If on the ticket, I tried this one time because I wanted to try this one product, and I thought, oh, I can incorporate it this week in a meal. This is a while ago. But on the tag, sometimes on the bottom, it says must buy 10.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. On some sodas and stuff, yeah, you do have to read like the fine print.
Yeah, it was so tiny too, and I'm like, look, they got me.
It usually happens on my sodas because I buy like 3 for the month, and yeah, you must buy, I believe, 4 for the kind that we usually buy, and it's like, okay, I'll take 4, but they're for the month.
They know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing. That's like, these comments are awesome.
I don't know where you're at.
I'm all the way towards the end, which is great because we had so many wonderful comments.
Yes.
Here's Jackie. Sometimes you have to try different things. Horchata. How do you pronounce it? Horchata? Horchata. I have to try that. I've never heard of that. As you said, I made a mental note. Like, try that. Okay, on your channel. Exactly. Do you have a video on that?
Yeah, it's like a minute video.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, I was making it one day. I'm like, I should share this. I mean, a lot of the times, and exactly, I made it like last minute when you don't have anything to drink, but you made this delicious meal, and you're like, I don't want water, but I don't have sodas. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make horchata, and I made a video, and I ended editing and everything. It's quick. It's like a minute, but it gives you an idea of what to do for a drink.
Wow. No, I gotta try it. I gotta try it. I love trying new things. I have to try it. It's funny, like what you put on your channel as far as like a recipe and what takes off. Like mine, I had leftover chicken, and that's another thing too. Is like I had leftover chicken. It's like, okay, I can do this. I can. I'm like, oh, I can make some chicken enchiladas because I had everything on hand to make the enchilada sauce from scratch. And it blew up on my channel. I was like, really? I was like, okay, thank you. To me, it
You
was just like,
never know.
those days you're just looking at what you have, and I wanted to use everything up, and it just made sense in my mind. Like, oh, I can make the green sauce. I have the tomatillos. I have that, and boom, and I couldn't believe it. I was
Yes.
like, wow, people are interested in trying new things, and like the drink. I'm gonna check that out as soon as we're done.
Yeah, like someone asked me about the meal that I made recently, which was on my recent grocery haul.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my channel is not a cooking channel, and I think cooking channels take like a lot of editing, and they cook so good and everything. And I'm not a chef,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I do cook for my family, and I did record some, and I'm like, I should share this because I ended up using a whole bag of scallions that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I did make a video on how my brother-in-law brought me a whole box of scallions once, and like 10 what was it? Not broccoli, cauliflowers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I cut everything and froze it and everything. And yes, when I was making the meal, it doesn't call for scallions, but I'm like,
Why not?
I actually used the cactus.
Mm.
One of the cactus, you asked me about the cactus, remember?
Yes, yeah. I never saw that. I never saw that in a video. I love watching grocery hauls from different places because I you don't see her. So I was like,
Yeah, so I used cactus, and I'm like, it might taste good. So I just put them in there, the scallions. So
that's
it's
awesome.
like you mentioned about the chicken, you can always just use up what you have.
Yeah, and that's what I love. Like that all recipes are cool, or just use your imagination and try to see like what you can put together to
Yes.
to stretch a grocery budget like another day. Those
Excuse me.
3 days that I save on groceries, it really adds up to like hundreds of dollars at the end of the month because
Yes.
it's 3 days a week. Like that's only 3.5 groceries a month, and I budget for the week. So
Just that alone motivates you to keep doing it.
oh my gosh,
It
that's
does.
what I did.
You
Absolutely,
know,
savings that up. Mm-hmm.
one thing that I do, on top of my budget being so low, still I have room to do 1 month no spend. And how I got my husband on board to do this
on
was
groceries or on spending.
on groceries.
Wow.
Because I have like a little wallet where I take every time I go grocery shopping. So if I have $5 or $10, like I save it. I have a special savings. And it's usually so that we can buy hamburger for the kids or whatever. I use it for food, but like
Yeah.
to eat out. But I always have I still have food in the freezer, in the pantry. So like 3 times a year, I do a no spend month. And the way I got my husband on board, because this is really tight, was that's money for a small vacation during the year. And we
How
do
nice is
do
that?
that, and he loves it. Like
Yeah.
because otherwise he wouldn't be excited. They don't want to roll with me.
Yeah.
But knowing that,
Mhm.
so having those $5,000 saving at the end of the year, and knowing that motivates you.
Absolutely, it does. And I shared this in another video, but like I'm really tempted when everybody was in the office to buy lunches. Like my coworkers were buying lunch, like, oh, do you want to buy lunch? Do you want to buy? And so what I did is we were saving for Disney that year, and so for many years it took me a few. But I printed the Disney castle and I put it by my computer. So every time that they would be like, hey, you want to go to $13 because you have to pay for the meal and for tip. I look at the castle. I'm like, no, that's okay. I have my leftovers. It really really helped me. It really helped me, like finding something fun, like, and it's kind of a reward too. Like,
yes, that is exactly it.
And I would to go to Disney. It was a reward for us, because not that like being debt free isn't fantastic enough as it is. Extra motivation to focus on something happy. Like you with the no spend. That's awesome.
But even we love to budget, and we know that it does pay off.
Yeah.
Then that is worth it. we also kind of need that immediate motivation.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
it's like I do that, feeling that more
1,000%.
instant reward, like closer than that big, far away goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see. Oh, they're talking about a documentary now. I told you when I was talking to Monica, she was like, "Are we just going to stick to the topics?" I said, "Yeah, but we have such great comments, and then they make us veer left and right sometimes." Girls, I recommend the minimalism documentary on Netflix. Oh, I gotta watch that. It'll make you aware of how much money you spend on things you don't need, including food that will eventually end up being garbage.
Yes.
That's what I love about Misfits Market. Again, here I go, going left. Some people say like squirrel moment, like you talk about something else. Misfits Market it's all organic. It's a subscription service that I have. I have videos on it. I'll link them below. But what I love about this is not only is it organic and it's very inexpensive, and it gets delivered to your door with organic fruits and vegetables, but it's stuff that the supermarkets didn't want. Like one time I had an eggplant that had an extra nub on the bottom. Who cares? It's an organic eggplant that I just spent like $5 or $4 for at the supermarket, and it's so they're actually saving food from being dumped out in the waste, and it's all fresh and it's fantastic.
I used to have a membership with Ugly Produce.
I've heard of them. I've heard of them. There's another one too. There's another one too.
It's the
There's
same thing. But I ended up canceling it just because I mean it did work for me for months,
Mhm.
but then I ended up canceling it because it wasn't working for me with my meal planning and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
How,
it has
how I
to
was
be.
doing it at the moment. But those produce, like they're good only because they're ugly, but they're delicious.
And I only
They're organic.
got a few that, like, out of all the boxes, I only got like a few that I laughed at. One was the eggplant. I sent a picture to my friend. I'm like, "You want this?" Like joking around because it had like that little extra stuff. But
Yeah.
like, split in half. Like, who cares? For me, it works for my meal plan. But that's one of the things I love about it, is the fact that you're helping the earth too, because it's less food that's being wasted. So,
Yes,
but I'm
yes.
definitely gonna check out that documentary. Thank you so much. Let me see.
Yeah, she actually was talking to me about it.
Yeah, I love
She is
minimalism. I love
exploring
the idea of minimalism.
minimalism. She
I
is
love the
exploring
idea of minimalism.
minimalism, and I told her, yeah, that is a great documentary.
Yeah, my teenage daughter that loves Amazon, she said to us a few weeks ago that she believes she's a minimalist. My husband and I almost fell off our chairs laughing. I'm like, there's always like, once every 2 weeks from her allowance, like on the front door. I'm like, you're minimalist? Like, you're nuts. Like, no, I am.
Actually, I do share a lot of it on my channel about minimalism also because since I started exploring minimalism about 4 years ago, I've been constantly decluttering. And having a family, you just always have to do it. And
Yep.
my mindset, I am not a minimalist by birth, honestly. Like it's actually hard for me to get rid of things.
Mm-hmm.
But my husband, he doesn't call himself minimalist, but he is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I also learned the benefits of being minimalist, but it also saves me a lot of money, and it gives you a peace of mind. Like but I had mentioned to Erica, viviendo el sueño americano, how kind of finances and minimalism and personal growth, they kind of, all those topics kind of go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
It's like
Yep.
you'll find that once you learn about being minimal, you're gonna save money,
Yeah.
and you're gonna enjoy, not only because you don't spend the money on those things, but it's kind of like you find loving decluttering.
Yeah.
So you're not out there shopping.
Yeah. No,
That
absolutely.
saves money.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's when I really saw the savings. It's like we only buy things when we need them. Like I'm not into like decor or things like that. Other than like outside for like the holidays, like Christmas and stuff, I will. But into like like changing the decor in my house, and I love watching those that are, because it's so pretty. But for me, I'm like, I don't want to spend the money. Like, I'd rather save it. I'd rather put it for the kids' school, and like, and I know like, by being in debt and getting out of debt, how much every single cent like matters.
Yes.
People will be like, well, that's only $5.99. Yeah, I know. Plus tax, plus shipping. Like, I could rather take do something else. Like every time they ask me, do you want to order lunch? I know it's $13, or I'm going to Starbucks. You want me to get you a cup of coffee? I'm like $6. Like in my head, that's how I did it, and I was like, no, thank you. And next thing you know, it's like you have all this
paid off. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I had coworkers that were spending close to $8 a day on coffee. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm not just. I just couldn't do it.
Once in a while, but that's what you had a goal in mind.
Yeah. You have to treat yourself sometimes. You do have to treat yourself sometimes I did say yes, and I left my leftovers the next day at work, like I did. But I can't do it every day. It would take such a hit on my budget. So
right.
So let me just check the comments before we let everyone go. Let me see. Oh, I didn't see this person commenting before.
Did you get all the questions?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, that was the last question. Unreal Sierra says, I have a problem with spending on stupid things I don't need. I tell you, I think we all do at one point or another. I'm telling you that back in the day, that was me, and that was part of my. And it wasn't stupid stuff I didn't need. It was stuff I was giving to others. Like that was back when I had credit card debt. You know, it's like, oh, so and so needs this. Like, oh, this would be a great gift for so and so.
Or buy it for later. Buy it for later, and you never use it.
Yeah, that was me. That was before budgeting just changed everything. It really changed.
Everything. At one point in my life, I would say I'm new at YouTube, but I'm like a veteran at budgeting and saving.
Yeah.
But at one point, before I started like really realizing how I needed to save money and really switching my life and doing my emergency fund and all of that, I didn't have a lot of money, but I used to go to the 99-cent store, walk around every single aisle. And I think this was linked to me having depression, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But when I would feel depressed or whatever, I would go to the 99-cent store and just walk every single aisle. I would end up leaving there, I'm not lying to you, with $50, $75 of worth of stuff that I didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
And all for what? Like when I would go home or whatever, as I was driving home already, it was like I felt that emptiness again.
Yeah.
And then I had that credit card because honestly, I didn't have money for all of that. I ended up paying it with a credit card. So that's it's like I'm just making my life worse.
That's why it's like, to me, if I can't now, like not then, like, but now, like the way my works is like I put it on a credit card. I know I'm gonna try to pay it off at the end of the month because I don't want to pay next month's paycheck on expenses. Angel.
But that's now, as you mentioned, now.
Yeah. Oh, now, not then. No, not then. I think we've all been like that. I think I
do it like that too. I still have credit cards just because I look at credit kind of like a document that you have to keep up with and building your credit.
Yes.
So I do that. If we have saved for something, we end up buying it with credit cards so that it helps our credit and stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And my credit score wouldn't be where it is now if I didn't do the same thing. I budgeted so much off, but that's now. That wasn't then. Now I'm blessed to be in a place financially. Angel, that's how I ended up in debt. LOL.
Yes, Angel. Oh my God, that was a lot of my debt too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, Monica. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. Oh, Granny Prepper. We've all done that, Vida.
That's what has us here now, and we can share all this, and hopefully some people will stop sooner than we did.
I know. Get out of it early. So I try to explain that in my kid's head, like don't make the mistake. Absolutely.
I told Jackie from the Financial Latina, actually. Mm-hmm. It's like I've always been frugal and not had a lot of money. Maybe if I would have had more money, I would have spent more, but I told her, that's great. I wish I would have known what you know now at your age.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I've enjoyed having Angel and Jackie on my channel because they have that mentality a lot earlier than I did,
Right.
And I'm like, man, where would my retirement be if I knew then what they know? They're so smart. Yeah. And that's any chance I get to say, go check them out, by all means.
I didn't even know what a 401k was. It's like, How could I not know?
I can't even. That's another show. That's another show you want. Talk about regrets.
But yeah, so
Monica,
right.
it's been wonderful having you on. Everybody, go check out Vida Happy on a Budget if you're not subscribed to her already. As you can tell, she is just fantastic, and she is so knowledgeable.
You're
And
great.
you'll leave her channel knowing more than you did starting out. She's
You're so sweet.
Angel's like, oh, Debbie, so true. It's so true. She's wonderful. But so are
Thank
you,
you,
and
Angel.
thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate you being on, Monica. This has been so
Thank
much
you
fun.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
No.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm so glad. This is her. And this
My
is
first time. I was so nervous.
Yeah, this is her first live. Look how wonderful she did. Yay!
Thank you.
Well,
Bye, guys.
Watch this live. Thank you so much. Everyone who's watching us who will watch the replay, thank you so much. I'm gonna link Monica's channel, Vida Happy on a Budget, down below, so make it easy for you guys to click over. So, yay! Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.